Refraction of light. We all know that ray of light travels in a straight line path in a medium. But what happens when a ray of light is incident at the interface separating the two media obliquely? Whether it will continue in the same straight line path in another medium also, or is there will be any deviation from its straight line path. So if a ray of light while traveling in one transparent medium is incident obliquely at the interface separating another transparent medium, it deviates from its straight line path. It will not continue on the same straight line path. This bending of the ray of light while traveling from one transparent medium to another transparent medium at the interface separating the two media is known as refraction of light. You can see here there is a change of medium. This is rarer medium, this is denser medium. It may be air glass, water glass, oil glass. So rarer and denser medium. So when a ray of light passes from rarer to denser medium, it bends towards the normal. Here it is bending towards the normal. You can see this is the straight line path. So this is the angle through which it has bent. Again you can see here when a ray of light passes from denser medium to rarer medium, it bends away from the normal. So this is the angle through which it has bent. So when a ray of light passes from denser medium to rarer medium, it bends away from the normal. There are two laws of refraction. The first law says the incident ray the normal to the refractive surface at the point of incidence. This is the point of incidence and this is your normal and refracted ray, all these three lie in the same plane. And the second law says for a given pair of media and for a given wavelength of light, the ratio of sine of angle of incidence to that of sine of angle of refraction is constant, and this constant is known as refractive index of the medium. The second law of refraction is also known as Snell's law. For a given pair of media, the medium having higher value of refractive index acts as a denser medium, and the medium having lower value of refractive index acts as a rarer medium. Now, in refraction, the velocity and wavelength of light change, but frequency and phase of light do not change. Now, principle of reversibility of light. If we place a plane mirror in the path of a refracted ray such that the refracted ray strikes the mirror normally, it retraces its path. It goes back on the same path. Now let us write Snell's law for ray of light going from rarer medium to denser medium, and again for ray of light going from denser medium to rarer medium. Here one thing must be clear while writing Snell's law, that the medium in which incident ray travels acts as first medium, and the medium in which refracted ray travels acts as second medium. So refractive, for a ray of light going from rarer medium to denser medium, if we write Snell's law at the interface, then what you will write? Refractive index of second medium, that is B, with respect to first medium, that is A, is equal to sine of angle of incidence by sine of angle of refraction. Similarly, for ray of light traveling from denser medium to rarer medium, so B will be your first and A will be your second medium. So refractive index of second medium with respect to first medium will be equal to sine R by sine I. Now multiplying these two equations, we find that their product becomes 1. So if a ray of light after suffering any number of reflection or refractions has its path reversed at any stage, it travels back to the source along the same path in opposite direction. A natural consequence of the principle of reversibility is that the image position can be interchanged. Image and object positions can be interchanged. These positions are called conjugate positions. Now refraction through glass slab. Suppose this is your point A and this is point B. Then writing Snell's law at point A. Refractive index of second medium is your B with respect to first medium. I is equal to sine I1 by sine R1. And writing Snell's law at B, refractive index of second, that is A, with respect to first medium, that is B, is equal to sine I2 by sine R2. Multiplying this, but we know that refractive index of B with respect to A and that of A with respect to B, their product is equal to 1. So substitute the values here. This is equal to 1. Now I1 is not equal to R1 and I2 is not equal to R2. So this product is equal to 1 only when I1 is equal to R2 and I2 is equal to R1. Now lateral shift. Here y is the lateral shift. Y is lateral shift, or we may call it a lateral displacement. It is the distance, perpendicular distance through which the incident ray gets displaced on refraction through glass slab. Say, suppose this is your point A, this is point B and this is C. So in triangle ABC, cos R1 is equal to T by AC, and in triangle ACM, sine delta is equal to Y by AC. Now from this equation, AC is equal to T by cos R1, and from here AC is equal to Y by sine delta. So AC is equal to T by cos R1 and AC is equal to Y by sine delta. Therefore, T by cos R1 is equal to Y by sine delta Therefore, lateral shifts y is equal to t sine delta is equal by cos r1. Now, from figure you can see that I1 is equal to R1 plus delta. So delta is equal to I1 minus R1. Now, as angle I1 is very small, if I1 is very small, R1 will be further smaller. So sine I1 minus R1 may be taken as equal to I1 minus R1 only. And in this case, R1 is very close to 0. So cos R1 may be taken as equal to 1. So the above equation gets reduced to y is equal to t I1 minus R1. Now if you take I1 t I1 common outside bracket, then it will be a 1 minus R1 by I1, and R1 by I1 is nothing but refractive index 1 by refractive index of B with respect to A. Now next is refraction through a compound slab. Now writing Snell's law at A, B and C. So at a refractive index of second medium, so at interface A, this is your second medium, this is your first medium. So B with respect to A is equal to sine I1 by sine R1. At B, this is your second medium and this is your first medium. So refractive index of C with respect to B is equal to sine R1 by sine R2. And at C, refractive index of A with respect to C is equal to sine R2 by sine I1. Multiplying all these three, we find that their product is equal to 1. From here, refractive index of C with respect to B is equal to refractive index of C with respect to A to that of B with respect to A. That is relative. Suppose we have to write refractive index of glass with respect to water. Then this is equal to absolute refractive index of glass by absolute refractive index of water. So absolute of lower medium is taken in numerator and upper will be taken in denominator. Now next is apparent depth of a liquid. Apparent depth of a liquid. Here you can see HA represents the apparent depth and HR represents the real depth. So writing Snell's law at this point, ray of light is going from denser medium to rarer medium. So refractive index of A with respect to B. Here this is second and this is first. Refractive second medium with respect to first medium is equal to sine I by sine R, or refractive index of B with respect to A is equal to sine R by sine I. Now see, suppose this is your A, this is B, this is okay. Sin R. What is sin R? This is equal to AB by AO dash. AB by AO dash. Sin I is equal to AB by AO. AB by AO. If you take the ratio sin R by sin I, AB gets cancelled. It will be AO by AO dash. So ratio sin R by sin I is equal to AO by AO dash. Now these 2 points must be very close, then only the rays of light reaches the eyes of the observer and things become visible. Meaning to say, these 2 points may be taken as very close, and if you are writing A and B here, then AO is equal to BO and AO dash is equal to BO dash. So sin R by sin I, which is your AO by AO dash, this is equal to BO by BO dash, which is equal to real depth by apparent depth. That is HR by HA, real depth by apparent depth. So apparent depth of a number of immiscible liquids is equal to summation the ratio of H and mu. Now apparent shift, also known as normal shift, it is the distance through which the object's image gets elevated from the surface. Apparent HR minus HA. You can see, if the observer is in rarer medium, the object is in denser medium, then apparent depth is less than the real depth. To a bird, the fish appears to be nearer than actual depth. And if the observer is in denser medium and the object is in rarer medium, then apparent depth is more than the real depth. To a fish, the bird appears to be farther than actual height. Now next is total internal reflection, then critical angle. So in the diagram you can see that a ray of light is passing from denser medium to rarer medium. Then angle of incidence is less than the angle of refraction. So what will happen if we go on increasing the angle of incidence, then for a particular angle of incidence you will find that the angle of refraction is 90 degree, and that particular angle of incidence is known as critical angle. So critical angle is that angle of incidence in denser medium for which angle of refraction is 90 degree, or we may say that critical angle is that angle of incidence for which the refracted ray just goes along the surface separating the two media. That angle of incidence is known as critical angle. And if a ray of light is incident at an angle greater than critical angle, it gets reflected back in the same medium from the interface separating the two media. That is, if a ray of light while traveling from denser medium to rarer medium is incident at the interface at an angle greater than critical angle, it gets reflected back into the same medium. The phenomena is known as total internal reflection. And So conditions for total internal reflection is that the incident ray must pass from optically denser medium to rarer medium, and angle of incidence must be greater than the critical angle. Now relation between the critical angle and the refractive index. So you can see this is your denser medium refractive index of, this is first medium, this is a second medium, that is air, with respect to glass is equal to sine angle of incidence critical angle, angle of refraction 90 degree. Sine 90 is 1. So mu a g is equal to sine IC, or 1 by mu. If you interchange the indices, it gets shifted from numerator to denominator. So GA is equal to sine IC. Sine IC 1 by GA. Now red color has maximum value of critical angle and violet color has minimum value of critical angle. Is evident from the equation. Now application of total internal reflection is your mirage, looming, totally reflecting prisms, optical fibers. So optical fibers we can discuss. Other things you have studied in class 10. Optical fiber, it is made of fine strands of glass or quartz. This bunch of fine strands of glass and quartz. So this is the bunch of fine strands of glass and quartz. This bunch is cladded with a material of refractive index lower than that of the glass quartz. So it is coated with a material. This coating is known as cladding. Coated with a material having lower value of refractive index than quartz. So this is cladding. So if a ray of light is incident at an angle greater than critical angle, here it is passing, this is lower refractive index, this is higher, so it is passing from denser to rarer, is incident at angle greater than critical angle, it gets reflected back in the same medium. So in this way, due to total internal reflection, it suffers multiple reflection within it and travels from one point to other point. This is how optical fiber works for sending electromagnetic waves from one point to another. Now, spherical refracting surfaces. A spherical refracting surface is a part of a sphere of the refracting material. A refracting surface which is convex towards the rarer medium. Convex means bulging edge. Convex towards the rarer medium is called convex refracting surface. You can see here, this is bulging convex surface towards the rarer medium. And a refracting surface which is concave, towards the rarer medium is your concave refracting surface. Now we will discuss refraction at convex surface, and we have to derive the formula, this one. See how. Here this is the point object on the principal axis, and due to refraction taking place from the convex refracting surface, its image is formed at I. And if this is the center of curvature, then if we join A and C, AC will be normal. So let these angles be alpha, beta and gamma. Angle which the incident ray makes with the principal axis, angle which the refracted ray makes with the principal axis your beta, and angle which the normal makes with the principal axis as gamma. Now this is your angle of incidence, angle between the normal and the incident ray. Angle of refraction, angle between the refracted ray and the normal. Now in the diagram, in triangle AOC, you can see that alpha plus gamma is equal to I. Sum of interior opposite angle is equal to exterior angle. So I is equal to alpha plus gamma. This we are writing in triangle AOC. AOC. Now in triangle AIC, this we are writing in triangle AIC. R plus beta is equal to gamma. Exterior angle is equal to sum of interior opposite angle. Gamma is equal to R plus beta. So from here we get R is equal to gamma minus beta. Now from figure we can write tan alpha is equal to MA by MO, or alpha is equal to MA by MO. Since the object is point object, so angle is very small. In that case, tangents of the angle can be replaced by simply with their angles. So we can write tan beta is equal to MA by MI, so beta is equal to MA by MI. Tan gamma is equal to MA by MC, so gamma is equal to MA by MC. Now according to Snell's law, sin I by sin R is equal to mu2 by mu1, refractive index of second medium with respect to first medium. So I by R is equal to mu2 by mu1. So mu1 into I is equal to mu2 into R. Now substituting the values I, R, alpha, beta and gamma and replacing M by P, because the aperture of the mirror is very small, and rearranging the things, we can find this equation. Now applying sign convention, we get the result. So this is very important from examination point of view also. The same formula can be derived by using refraction at convex surface. You will get the same result. Here image formed is virtual. In the earlier case the image formed is real. Here it is virtual. We get the same result. And refraction at concave surface, proceeding in the similar manner, we can derive and we come to know that result is same. But here refraction at convex surface when object is in denser medium, in all the earlier cases object is rarer medium, result is same, whether the image formed is real, whether the image formed is virtual, whether the surface is convex refracting surface or concave refracting surfaces. For all these cases we are getting the same result. But here surface is convex and object is now in denser medium. So in that case, refraction at convex surface when object is in denser medium, in all the earlier cases object is real, whether the image formed is real, whether the image formed is virtual, whether the surface is convex refracting surface or concave refracting surfaces. For all these cases we are getting the same result. But here surface is convex and object is now in denser medium. So in that case If we proceed in a similar manner, the result what we get is mu2 by minus u plus mu1 by v is equal to mu1 minus mu2 by r. That is, if we replace mu1 by mu2 and mu2 by mu1 in the real result, we will get this result. So refraction at convex surface for denser medium to rarer medium. So finally we conclude that expression for object in a rarer medium is same whether it is real or virtual or convex or concave surface. The result is this one. Similarly, expression for object in denser medium is same whether it is real, virtual, convex or concave. The result is same. However, the values of u, v and r etc. must be taken with proper sign convention while solving numericals. The refractive indices mu1 and mu2 gets interchanged in the two expressions. Now, in your examination, it is not necessary that they will give to derive the expression by using convex surface when image formed is virtual, concave surface when image formed is virtual. Case may not be specified specifically. So for that, you prepare yourself for the first one very well so that you can write within a stipulated time. But at the same time, you must practice for all the different positions so that if any specific condition will be given in that situation also you can write it. Next is lens maker formula. आधा घंटा के वीडियो है. Lens maker formula very important. Now, for refraction taking place at the convex surface LP1N, we can write this equation straightway. In examination also you will write it. And for refraction taking place at the convex surface LP2N, the image I1 found by the first surface acts as virtual object whose final image is formed at I. So we can write this one. Adding these two, we will arrive here. Now using sign convention, we get this result. Now first principal focus is the point on the principal axis of the lens at which if object is placed, the image would have been formed at infinity. And second principal focus is the point where rays of light parallel to principal axis after refraction converges. So when object is kept at infinity, the image will formed at focus. When we put this condition, we get focal length equal to this one. And for second also, that is when object is at focus, we get its image at infinity. So in that case, we get the same result 1 by minus f is equal plus 1 by infinity is equal to the same thing. That is 1 by f is equal to mu minus 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. That is first principal focus and second principal focus. Both are the same. So in general we can write 1 by f is equal to mu minus 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. This relation is known as Lenz-Maker formula.